From the bad fortune of the economy, the good fortune of Westmoreland, we've now got Frank Yoffe. Is that?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay. As Westmoreland condo manager, at least until somebody lures him away with big bucks for another job opportunity. So Frank, I hear that you've got a lot of background in property management, small business management.
Yeah, my family's been in it, in one aspect of it or another, and I was in mostly the maintenance and the liaison or customer service end of it for quite some number of years. I changed vocations about 4 years ago as a technician. I'm the guy who used to fix all those coin store and bank machines where they counted your coin.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they even had a setback.
Oh, really?
Recession at banks, and unfortunately, it was a point where I had to go back to another vocation, which is what I did, but in a slightly different vein.
Okay.
More of a site manager and concierge kind of arrangement.
Right. Well, sounds like you got some versatility, and actually on the coin management, sometimes we have trouble with our coin laundry machines, and now we moved to a card system, but sometimes the cards don't work. So maybe we can use some of your expertise there.
Well, I was also in the laundry and dry cleaning business for the first part of my working life.
Okay.
Back in when I was very young, skinny, and dark-haired.
All right, great. So what do you like most about Westmoreland?
I like the fact that it's not a large community. People have faces. You can get to know each person. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 149 units here.
Right.
Split equally, leasing to ownership, and it's personality driven. The development itself has a pretty long history, being about 75 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just really it's really pleasant to come to work for a change.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, it'll be great having you around, and I'm sure the residents will, look forward talking with you and working with you on various, sorting out minor issues or whatever.
That's what we're basically here in a liaison capacity. I mean, we can't specifically solve the problems, but at least we can expedite the answer,
right,
which is basically what I think they really want. It's hard to do it there's condominiums everywhere in this town now.
Right.
Call it what you want: condominiums, co-ops, townhouse developments, and they're pretty faceless because you have to just depend on the board of directors that you vote on, but they're not very high profile.
Right.
And they also all have jobs. So something like this is probably going to become more the norm than people realize. Call it a caretaker if you wish, but I like to call it more like an expediter.
Yeah, well, I mean, our previous manager, Phil, was really great in helping people arrange contractors, providing recommendations on how to do stuff, what to do, who to use.
We're still here to do that.
I
mean, we haven't changed the whatever mission statement they had having us here.
Right.
I mean, we can advise and consent, and we can do whatever they need us to do up to the point where they have to understand that they're the owner of the house.
Yeah.
And ultimately responsible for what goes on.
Absolutely. All right, that's great. Well, great to have you here, Frank.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I like the area. I'm pretty much a lifelong D.C. resident. I'm second generation D.C. native, which usually doesn't happen in this day and age. Yeah, it's like I was too lazy to move to California when I was a hippie. So
yeah, well, I bet you're regretting that this winter, right?
No, changing of the seasons. I just don't need that much change in one small compact area of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what got everybody. It's not the snow. It's the fact that we got 3 snowstorms in 10 days.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're from. You're not used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. Well, wow, if you're a second generation DC, you probably got some contacts in the area, huh?
Yeah, and the funny part is watching DC change, because what it was, even back when my mother described it, she's still living, and she's pretty knocked out when I bring her into the district, because she lived in areas that were pretty much slum-ridden when she was growing up in the 30s, and which are now the most gentrified areas of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, well, we see that happening in our neighborhood here a little bit, too.
There's a sense of history in this place all the time, and not just in D.C. itself. So
yeah,
and that's why I like staying here.
Cool. All right, great. Thanks a lot.